First at 9 this Monday, the 17th of November 2025. Reused. 6 official residences returned to the state, rented out to 3 institutions, reveals Minister. Temple tensions. 2 monks injured as police remove a Buddha statue from a Trincomalee temple. Opposition questions police intervention. Protests continue. GMOA trade union action to continue tomorrow. Development officers temporarily call off demonstration, but unemployed graduates and fishermen stage more protests.
Kalin baby so rupial anuwakata. Kalin baby podi hamotamai.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9, brought to you by Sri Lanka's premium news provider, Derana News Channel. I'm Tarindu Mahendra, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. We begin with your top story this evening. Tensions flared in Trincomalee last evening when police attempted to halt what they said was unauthorized construction at Sri Sambuddha Jayanti Bodhiraja Viharaya, leading to 2 Buddhist monks being injured. Speaking on the incident in Parliament today, Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijayapala claimed that the decision to remove a Buddha statue from the temple was taken as a precautionary measure to ensure its safety. The minister's comments drew sharp criticism from the opposition and sparked a heated debate.
Sri Sambuddha Jayanti Bodhiraja Viharaya in Trincomalee, a temple registered with the Department of Buddhist Affairs since 1951, recommenced the restructuring of its Dhamma school with a foundation laying ceremony yesterday. The Sri Sambuddha Jayanti Bodhivardhana Dhamma school was previously destroyed by the tsunami in 2004. However, as arrangements were being made to place a Buddha statue in the afternoon, police arrived and informed the chief incumbent, Venerable Trikunamale Kalyanavansathissa Thera, that the Department of Coast Conservation had lodged a complaint claiming that the construction on the premises was illegal. Later in the evening, when police attempted to remove the Buddha statue, the situation escalated into a confrontation. The chief incumbent and another Buddhist monk were injured in the incident and hospitalized. Meanwhile, National People's Power MP Roshan Akmimana, who arrived at the scene today, was met with the protests. Speaking in Parliament today, Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijayapala stated that the decision to remove the Buddha statue from the Sri Sambuddha Jayanti Bodhiraja Viharaya was taken as a precautionary measure.
The police received a report stating that intelligence information had been received regarding possible vandalism of the statue. Therefore, police ensured its protection by removing it. Today, we instructed the police to place the Buddha statue back in the temple. A formal security program is being implemented from today onwards. The Department of Coastal Conservation previously received a complaint that a restaurant was operating illegally on the premises. Police are currently taking steps to initiate legal action regarding that matter. The matter will be referred to court and further action will be taken according to the court's decision. How can police intervene in the construction of a temple by entering it in the middle of the night? I heard the ministry in charge of the police stating that the statue was removed as a safety measure. However, when this happened, 2 monks were hospitalized due to the police assault. Questions are now being raised, such as, was the statue removed for the safety of the Buddhist monks, or was it removed or keep it safe from the police? We request that the government intervene and hold discussions. Do not allow this to turn into a racially divisive issue. If you want to create a racial issue, then that is your political agenda. The Trincomalee Harbour Police removed the statue based on a tip-off that it might be damaged. As you mentioned, the reason no police protection was provided at the moment is because the statue had been placed there at 10 p.m. Until 10 a.m. the statue was kept at the police station to ensure its safety. We will not allow anyone to turn this incident into a racial issue. I told everyone, including Dayasiri Jayasekara and the opposition leader, not to intervene in illegal situations for political gain. If something is wrong, it is wrong. If this temple was constructed legally and all necessary documents exist, then meet the district secretary. Why did they come on a Sunday morning to lay the foundation and then place the statue at night? Don't you think something unusual is happening here? I believe this is preparation for the rally on November 21st.
මට්නම් හිතන්නේ නොවැම්බර් 21 රැස්වීමට පෙර සූදානමට තමයි මේ දේ කරේ. දැන් මේ ඊයේ අපේ ශ්‍රී සම්බුද්ධ ජයන්ති බෝධිරාජ විහාරය
No matter how Shanikan Rasamanikam tries to frame the situation that arose from the Sri Sambuddha Jayanti Bodhiraja Vihara, the reality is that this issue stems from what was created on the political stage before and after the formation of this government. A current cabinet minister said on stage that idol worship is unnecessary, calling it an outdated tribal practice. Since they believe this deeply as a principle, such situations arise. If people who believe idol worship is a tribal practice are in government, what happens when a government representatives request that such an issue be resolved? Police end up assaulting Buddhist monks. These individuals who joined hands with us are the same ones who signed agreements with the United States and now show they can carry out matters in secrecy. All of them take instructions from imperialists and act as puppets of a puppet government.
Subsequently, police took steps to replace the Buddha statue at the temple premises. Issuing a statement, Sri Lanka police responded to the false and misleading information circulating on social media regarding the video of the tense incident. Police noted that the situation could lead to misunderstandings among communities and cause issues related to national harmony. They added that based on a complaint filed by the Department of Coast Conservation, authorities took steps to control the crowd that had gathered at the site when authorities attempted to stop the unauthorized construction. Police emphasized that officers did not attack Buddhist clergy or the public at any point.
ඔබේ සම හඳුනාගෙන ඖෂධීය ශාකසාරමය Forever face wash එකක් භාවිතා කරන්න.
අප වෙනුවෙන් කැපවූ ලංකාවේ අපේ අංක 1 ජාලය ඩයලොග්. දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් ස්විස් ටෙක් නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. ස්විස් ටෙක් ගන්න ඕන හොඳම තීරණය.
Public Administration Minister Dr. Chandana Aberatna told Parliament today that the Speaker and 7 Deputy Ministers have been allocated official residences with rent deducted from their salaries. Meanwhile, MP Chamara Sampath Dasanayake raised concerns in Parliament over vehicle import permits requested by public servants. He made these remarks during the committee stage debate on budgetary allocations proposed for the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism.
6 official residences that were returned to the state have been temporarily allocated on a rental basis to the following institutions. 1 to the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, 1 to the Police Department, while remaining 4 were allocated to the Ministry of Justice for the establishment of special courthouses. Meanwhile, official residences have been provided to the Speaker and 7 Deputy Ministers pursuant to the standing orders with rent deducted from their salaries.
අදාළ නිවාස කුලිය අය කර ගැනීමෙන් ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් එහෙම කුලියෙන් කැපෙන්න දෙනවා නම්
Providing official residences with rent deducted from salaries was the norm in the past too. Anyone can do that. However, the government decided to not to allot official residences to anyone. If residences have been granted to the Speaker and 7 others, then the rest should also be given residences on a rent.
කුලියෙන් කැපෙන්නේ නම් කුලියට දෙන්න. මෙතන කිසිම අමාත්‍යවරයෙකුට මේ
No minister has been given an official residence. I must make that very clear. Other institutions have also requested official residences and we are considering those requests as well. If any opposition member requests one, we will consider that request too.
අපට ඒක සලකා බලන්න පුළුවන්. දමුණාසලා අසං කරා ඉන්දියන් ගිවිසුම් ටික.
Now you sign agreements with India. When the president was in the opposition, raised concerns whenever agreements were inked in secrecy. He said that Parliament and the public must know the content of such agreements. You have not disclosed the content of the agreements with India or China. Now an agreement that was rejected by Indonesia has been signed by this government with the United States. What is this government doing?
මොනවද මේ කරන්නේ දමුණාසලා? ජිනීවා මානහිමන් කවුන්සිලේදී රටේ ආරක්ෂාව වෙනුවෙන්
At the Geneva Human Rights Council, we acted in a neutral manner for the protection of our country and our people. Everyone knows that President Trump once imposed a 44% reciprocal tariff on Sri Lanka and we were able to reduce it to 20%. Recently, through a new law, he decided to reduce tariffs on certain food items imported from Sri Lanka to 0. We have achieved these outcomes through relationships we nurtured.
මේ සියල්ල ජයග්‍රහණය කරේ දැන් බන්ධනාගාර කොමසාරිස් ජෙනරාල් එතුමාගේ වැඩ තහනම් කළා.
The Commissioner General of Prisons has been suspended over the Anuradhapura incident. However, the issue has not been resolved. If he is innocent, he must be acquitted by the courts. Otherwise, necessary legal action must be taken. I consider Minister Vijitha Herath the second most responsible person after the President. I must tell you this because you are here. 20,000 permits have been promised to state employees. All these people supported the NPP and they are waiting for the promise to be honoured. Doctors, administrators and government employees will resent the government if this promise is not honoured. We know how the law functioned in this country before. Everyone knows how Hirunika abducted people using defenders and how they took the law into their own hands. We know how MP Chamara Sampath forced a teacher to kneel and took control of the law. We know how Mervyn Silva tied a state employee to a tree and attempted to take the law into his own hands. Also, former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa once famously said that his words are the same as any gazette notification. That was the state of law and order in this country, and we have changed it. The previous government implemented a program called Yuktiya. The current government has launched an initiative called Quit. I heard someone talking about principals. I recall a principal affiliated with the NPP being arrested over a drug case. These accusations must be levelled against the government to prevent accusations over these matters from being lopsided. I also saw on social media that an NPP local government councillor was arrested in Dahiwala. Please clarify your position on this. The law must be equal to all. My friend Minister Sunil Watagala said that no one else treats everyone more fairly than they do. Since this government came into power, over 50 murders and more than 100 shooting incidents have taken place. While promising to bolster public security, the government has decided to reduce security provided to members of parliament. However, the Minister of Public Security is escorted by a contingent of undercover STF officers. I even took a photograph of him being escorted as such last Thursday. If public safety is truly guaranteed, then the minister does not require STF protection.
The Government Medical Officers Association says it will continue the trade union action launched today despite talks with President Anura Dissanayake and Minister of Health Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa. The association disclosed that the decision was prompted by the lack of solutions provided during the discussions. Meanwhile, the school development officers who staged an overnight protest outside the Presidential Secretariat announced they will temporarily call off the demonstration after being granted a meeting with the Prime Minister.
The Government Medical Officers Association launched a trade union action in government hospitals from 8 a.m. this morning, claiming that the 2026 budget has failed to address issues and concerns of health sector services. As part of the ongoing trade union action, government medical officers refrained from issuing prescriptions requiring purchases from external pharmacies, providing recommendations for lab tests carried out outside government facilities, and participating in mobile clinics and medical camps other than the routine sessions. Patients who arrived at hospital premises were severely inconvenienced. Against this backdrop, several representatives of the GMOA arrived at the Presidential Secretariat this morning to deliberate the matter with President Anura Dissanayake and the Minister of Health and Mass Media, Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa. Following the meeting, the President posted on Facebook that safeguarding citizens' well-being is central to the effective functioning of the health sector and reaffirmed that ensuring necessary facilities for professionals including doctors is a key objective of his administration. Despite the meeting, the GMO's Executive Council decided to continue the trade union action.
Our concerns were not met with any direct or immediate solutions. The authorities requested additional time to deliberate on the issues raised. However, following the Executive Committee meeting convened after discussions with the President, it was decided that the ongoing trade union action will continue until the government concludes formal deliberations on these matters. Accordingly, the trade union action launched this morning will continue tomorrow.
Meanwhile, a group of school development officers who engaged in a protest in front of the Presidential Secretariat yesterday remained at the site overnight. The protesters urged the government to honour its pledge to formally integrate school development officers who had been engaged in teaching for over 6 years to the teaching service. As the demonstration resumed this morning, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa visited the location.
When these promises were made before the elections, no one raised concerns about examinations or the education sector. The 16,600 individuals gathered here nearly a decade of experience and hold substantial knowledge and expertise in the field of education. We call on the government to issue appointment letters to all 16,600 of them and grant them entry into the teaching service.
Later in the afternoon, the protesters were granted a meeting with the Director General of Presidential Public Relations.
It appears that certain state officials have taken note of our concerns and we have now been granted the opportunity to hold discussions with the Minister of Education. Accordingly, we have decided to temporarily suspend the trade union action taking place in front of the Presidential Secretariat. However, should the discussions with the Prime Minister fail to produce a solution, we will return to this location and resume our trade union action.
Subsequently, the school development officers arrived at the Ministry of Education for talks with Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya. Meanwhile, a group of unemployed graduates staged a protest near the Presidential Secretariat this morning, alleging that the government has yet to offer meaningful solutions to their grievances. A separate protest was held in front of the Fisheries Ministry today by fishermen and industry representatives, opposing the government's decision to ban mechanical equipment in fishing. Fishermen in Ambalangoda staged a parallel demonstration.
Sri Lanka launched the Shrimp Industry Information System, the country's first integrated digital platform for aquaculture. The platform was developed by the UN Food and Agriculture Organization with the Ministry of Fisheries and National Aquaculture Development Authority under the Korea-funded Smart and Sustainable Aquaculture Project. The SIIS connects farmers, labs and regulators through real-time data, AI-driven insights and early warning systems to improve biosecurity, traceability and farm productivity. Accessible via mobile and web, it allows users to monitor water quality, report diseases and receive automated advisories while giving authorities a national level visibility for faster coordinated responses. Sri Lanka signed agreements with the Asian Development Bank today to obtain $300 million under several policy-based loans and an investment loan. Accordingly, Sri Lanka will receive $100 million under the Financial Sector Stability and Reforms Program following the completion of 11 policy actions aimed at strengthening the stability, governance and asset quality of the banking sector. Similarly, under the Strengthening Macroeconomic Resilience and Transparency Program, Sri Lanka will receive $100 million following the completion of policy actions aimed at improving public expenditure management and domestic resource mobilization. Furthermore, a $70 million policy-based loan and a $30 million investment loan will be obtained as a part of the Sustainable Tourism Sector Development Program. The overall program intends to strengthen the tourism sector by implementing structural reforms and capacity building initiatives while also developing the tourism potential of Trincomalee and Dambulla, including Sigiriya.
Let the world look up to you, shoot what you see, be who you wanna be. Search with a smile, create your own style. Gemini Live, make moments come alive. Be anywhere, rock anytime. With awesome AI by your side. Be anywhere, rock anytime. Be brilliant, be always intelligent. Download fast, stream it all night. One tap, move, everything feel right. Snap it clean, edit like a pro. Smarter with Gemini, let the magic flow.
Introducing Samsung Galaxy A17 5G. The power to be always intelligent.
Musa Phoenix Natal Fiesta November 13 සිට 16 දක්වා අනුරාධපුර ස්පොට්නික් ක්‍රීඩා පිටියේදී.
Welcome back to First at 9. South Korean ambassador to Sri Lanka, Myeon Lee, says Sri Lanka must ensure stronger policy clarity, greater transparency and faster decision-making to boost investor confidence. She made these remarks at the Korea-Sri Lanka Investment Facilitation Forum held recently in Colombo.
The forum brought together Korean business leaders and representatives from more than 20 Sri Lankan ministries to address challenges faced by Korean companies already operating in the country and to explore new investment opportunities. The event was attended by South Korean Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Myeon Lee, and Deputy Minister of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development, Chaturanga Abesinghe, who reaffirmed the government's commitment to creating an investment-friendly climate under the 2026 budget reforms. He also outlined plans to develop a dedicated South Korean Korean investment hub within the Port City project, encouraging Korean companies to establish head offices and production facilities in Sri Lanka. Business leaders, including members of the Korean Businessmen's Association, highlighted operational concerns and procedural bottlenecks affecting investors, while potential new investors sought guidance on entering the Sri Lankan market. Ambassador Lee welcomed the progress Sri Lanka has made so far, but reiterated that clearer policies and faster approvals will be crucial to strengthening bilateral economic ties and attracting long-term Korean investment.
The Colombo bourse closed in negative territory today as a result of price losses in counters such as Selinco Holdings, Senkatagala Finance and Bukit Dara. The benchmark ASPI lost 1.01% to close at 23,223.68, while the more liquid S&P Sri Lanka 20 decreased by 0.4% to end the day at 6,410. Market turnover was 4.4 billion rupees. Foreign participation in market activity remained at subdued levels, with foreigners closing as net sellers, offloading shares worth 151 million rupees. Next is Dinuka Dharmasena from Capital Alliance with a few thoughts to round off our Markets in View segment for the week.
Sri Lanka's stock market recorded a strong early week buying interest, lifting the SPI by 0.5% to 23,459 and the S&P SL20 by 0.9% to 6,435 before encountering a mild pullback toward weekend sessions. Market turnover rose 53% to 35 billion rupees. Meanwhile, the last week Treasury bill auction raised 43.3 billion rupees, with the 3 and 12 months maturities unchanged and the 6 months maturity recording a 1 basis point increase.
President Donald Trump has removed US reciprocal tariffs on several agricultural products widely exported by Sri Lanka, including spices, coconut products and packaged tea under 3 kilograms. The move comes under a new executive order that expands the list of goods exempt from Trump's global reciprocal tariff regime. Sri Lanka had earlier negotiated a reduction of these tariffs from 44% to 20%, and this latest decision effectively removes them for key products such as coffee and tea, tropical fruits, cocoa, spices, bananas, tomatoes, beef and certain fertilizers. The White House says the change follows progress in trade talks and aims to support US supply needs for goods not produced domestically. The updated tariff exemptions are effective from November 13th. With that, here's a look at today's foreign exchange rates. That's all for tonight from First at 9. For the latest developments round the clock, stay in touch with Other Derana News Channel, the Sri Lankan news brand of international excellence. Thank you for joining. Have a great night.
From across the nation and around the world, this is Sri Lanka's #1 news source, Other Derana.